What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be rating more of my makeup. I love doing the one that I did 2 weeks ago where I rated and put every single skin tint in a tier list. And I let you guys know which ones were the holy grails and which ones you should probably avoid. And you guys seem to really love that video, and because you loved it, it really motivated me to want to do more. And now I am determined to do every single makeup category. So I was trying to think of another makeup product or another makeup category that's really trending right now, that's really popping off, that you guys would really want to know my thoughts on, and I thought cream bronzers are definitely it. It is summertime. Who doesn't want to look bronzed? Who doesn't want to look glowy? Creams are really in right now. Thank God. We all know how much I love creams. So I am going to be rating pretty much every single cream bronzer that is out there on the market. At least I'm going to try to. I really hope I didn't forget anything. Let me know in the comments what other makeup categories I should rank next. Get excited. Let's get started. So let me first introduce you to my tier list and all of the different categories. This is basically the exact same for my skin tint video, but I did add something new at the bottom over here just to be really thorough. So all these are pretty self-explanatory, but I'm gonna go through them anyway. Starting from the top, we have Holy Grail. This is obviously the most valuable spot to be in. Holy Grail status speaks for itself. It's a product that has probably been in my life for a while, or even if it hasn't, it's cemented itself as a favorite, and it's going to be a favorite for a very long time. This checks all the boxes for me. It's really the best of the best. Then we have In the Rotation, still a very good category to be in. This basically says that these products are really good and I use them all the time. They just haven't quite hit Holy Grail status yet, but perhaps they are on their way. Then we have Good Not Amazing. This is very self-explanatory. These are products that are literally just good but not amazing. There's nothing that really blows me out of the water, but they're still good products. Then we have Used to Use It All the Time, but not so much anymore. Below that we've got Take It or Leave It. So I don't really care if I have this or if I don't. Doesn't really make a huge difference in my life. This is the most like, category in the tier list. Below that we have Not For Everyone. So these are products that may not be good for specific skin types. Maybe it's a texture thing that not everybody's going to love. These are just a little bit more niche. And below that, I mean, avoid. Yeah, don't like this at all. Would not recommend. Perhaps avoid it. Then we have my two new categories that are on the bottom over here. These are for the products that I haven't actually tried yet. I really wanted to do this because in my last video, a lot of you guys were asking me questions about products that I didn't mention in the video. I didn't mention a lot of those products because I hadn't tried them, but I still have thoughts on them even though I haven't tried them. And so I made two categories. Either I'm excited to try them for X, Y, or Z reason, or I'm not gonna bother even trying them for, again, X, Y, or Z reason, which I will get into. Alrighty, so let's start off with, I think, a pretty popular cream bronzer right now. This is the Tower 28 Bronzino Bronzer. So this is actually a very unique cream bronzer, not so much in the formula, but more so in the actual finish of the bronzer. Most cream bronzers are matte. You won't really find a ton that have shimmer or sheen. Some of them may have a glow, but finding glitter in a cream bronzer isn't typical. And so for that reason, you kind of have to know what you're getting into with this bronzer. For me personally, I actually don't love to use this all over my face because this does have quite an intense like shimmer and sheen to it. It does give your skin a very intense glow. So you gotta like a glow to like this bronzer. So for me, I only really like to use this bronzer when I do want an especially glowy bronzy look, and I actually don't like to apply it all over my face. I tend to avoid putting it on my forehead, on my jawline. I really just put it on my cheekbone area, and I'll often actually use it with another more matte cream bronzer just to kind of give more dimension to my face. It's really beautiful. That glow is gorgeous. It's not over the top. It's not unflattering in any way. You just gotta know what you're gonna get with this product. That's all. There's two very distinct textures I find when it comes to cream bronzers. It's either a little bit more on the drier, stiffer side, or it's very wet and almost slippery. There's pros and cons to both formulas. When something's more emollient, it really blends and meshes into the skin so beautifully. It's very easy to use, very beginner friendly. But the problem with super emollient formulas is that they don't necessarily last super long in the face. They kind of tend to slip off pretty easily, especially if you are sweating a lot. Not super ideal, at least for me, always speaking on my own experience here. So this is a very wet, very creamy emollient type of formula. All right, so with all of that being said, I am actually going to place the Tower 28 Bronzino in the not for everyone category, which I feel like may be surprising because I do like this product. The not for everyone category is not an innately negative category to be in. I just don't think this is going to suit everybody's needs. Okay, I'm about to bring you way, way back. This is going to trigger a nostalgic memory. We have the Anastasia contour kit. I honestly totally forgot about this product, but as I was browsing through Sephora doing like product research, trying to make sure I had every single cream bronzer possible, I saw this and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this. This palette was the shit when it was released. Like, it was the hottest thing to have, and cream contouring specifically was starting to emerge. And so this was maybe a lot of people's like first experiences with creams. At least I think it maybe was for me. I don't remember another product that I used before this. So this may have been one of the first cream bronzers or cream contour products that I've ever tried. So even though I haven't used this product in a long time, I still remember exactly what the formula was like. And I do remember this being a little bit of a stiffer formula, a little bit more difficult to work with. And I don't remember totally loving the formula of this and not really getting a whole lot of use out of it. Product like this is a little bit more geared towards makeup artists or people who are working in the industry who need a palette like this with multiple shades, both highlighting and contouring, to have on hand when they're working on different models. I think for an everyday person, I don't think that it's completely necessary to have a palette like this because you're probably just not going to get use out of all of the shades that are in here. And just overall, I just don't feel that the formula is that amazing. So I'm going to put it in the not for everyone category. It's Future Jamie here. I just want to interject and actually change my position on the Anastasia contour kit. I actually should have put the Anastasia contour kit in the avoid category. The cream formula really is just not good. It's super stiff, so difficult to work with, so difficult to blend, not an intuitive formula whatsoever, and especially compared to all the creams that are on the market right now, I just don't think it's even a little bit worth getting. So I don't know what I was thinking putting it not for everybody. I would definitely just say to avoid altogether. And I do have an alternative contour palette recommendation coming later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, Future Jamie out. So next, let's talk about the Huda Beauty Tantour. This is what I would like to call a full coverage cream bronzer. Now, when you think of creams, it's definitely associated with more natural makeup. I think if you are somebody who loves more of a full glam look, but you still want to dabble in creams, but you don't really like care for maybe more of a super natural look, you still want that like full glam effect, this is a great product to achieve that with while still getting the great effects of a cream. So this is somewhat more of like a thicker formula, so when you apply it to your face, there's actually a lot more pigment that comes off. This is like the complete opposite of the Tower 28 Bronzino. That one is definitely a little bit more on the sheer side. It's very, very lightweight, very slippery on the skin. This is the opposite. It's very pigmented, a little bit of a heavier cream, and it just kind of sits in a more full coverage way. It also has a stiffer, more matte formula, so this is definitely more of a long-wearing cream as well. I don't find that I need to set this down with a powder to make it last. If I want like a super, super long-wearing bronzer look, I'll put this on, and then I'll put a powder on top to lock it down. Not that it's necessary, but it will definitely ensure that I'm going to get a really intense bronzed look and it's going to last throughout the entire day. It's still a cream, right? So it does what creams do. It still looks very natural on the skin. It still kind of lets some of your natural skin texture show through, and that's what's so beautiful about creams is that it kind of looks like it's a part of the skin rather than sitting on top of it, but it's definitely more suited for my full coverage people out there. For me, this used to be probably one of my most used cream bronzers. I have not taken this out of my collection in such a long time, really for no good reason. I think it's just that I've been using a lot of other cream products and I've been really enjoying them, and so I haven't really found much of a use for this at the moment. So for those reasons, I'm putting it in. Used to use it all the time, but not anymore. This is the Patrick Ta bronzer duo. So this one is a little bit unique in this entire showdown because this doesn't just have a cream bronzer in this little palette, but there's also a powder bronzer. So this does maybe have a bit of an unfair advantage because it is slightly more versatile than all of these other products, but that is actually why I love it so much, and that's why I think this is such a beautiful beautiful, beautiful product. Both formulas are really beautiful. The powder is really, really soft and creamy and very finely milled, so it blends and sits on the skin beautifully. And the cream is also great. It's kind of exactly how I want a cream bronzer to work. It's kind of that perfect cream bronzer formula for me because it really sits in between a super emollient formula and something that's a little bit more stiff and matte. It has this really nice blendability to it, but it doesn't stay wet on the skin, so I don't find that it slips and slides around anywhere on the face. And it also just has some really great pigment to it. It's not super sheer. I think if you're looking for a versatile product, this is honestly perfect because you could have just this in your collection and you have the best of both worlds. You have your powder, you have your cream, you can use them separately, you can use them together, you can use the cream on top of the powder on top of the cream. You can do so many different things. And what's also so nice about this duo is that the two shades, the cream and the powder, are two completely different shades. The bronzer powder is much warmer and the cream has a bit more of like a cooler, neutral tone to it. So the powder works really well warming up the face. The cream works really well at kind of sculpting the face while also slightly warming it up. And so when you use them together, it's not redundant. You are actually getting two different effects. So I just feel like this is such a great all-around product and I would definitely really highly recommend it. I think for me, it's in the rotation. I can't say it's holy grail status. It's too new in my life, and even though I love it, I think there's actually very few cream bronzers that are holy grail status for me because my favorites just change so often, but it's surely in the rotation. This next product is also really unique and very interesting, and I think that people are either going to love this or they're going to hate it. So I think you could probably already tell what category this is probably going to land in. It is the iconic London bronzer liquid. So this is an incredibly sheer bronzer. If you want something that is uber natural looking that like you really can't mess up, this is a perfect product. And so some people are going to really love that because it's really perfect for like those no makeup days when you do want a little bit of color but you don't want it to be super obvious that you're wearing like makeup. This is a perfect product for something like that. But if you're looking for like a really bronze look, something that's going to pop on the skin, this is not the product for you. I think this would actually be really great for like a teenager, somebody who wants something very light, very natural. I think this would actually be perfect because you really can't mess this up. Like I can't stress that enough. So again, this is going in the not for everyone category. I feel like this category is piling up really quickly, but it's the truth, man. It's the truth. So this next bronzer makes me really sad because it is a limited edition cream bronzer from Nars. I wanted to include it though because it is still available and I believe it's part of like their summer collection. It is the cream bronzer that I am wearing on my face today. I actually find it to be somewhat similar to the Huda Beauty Tantour, but a slightly less intense version of it. This is a very pigmented bronzer. A small amount of this really does go a very long way. And similar to the Huda Beauty bronzer, I do feel like this is more of like a full coverage person's cream bronzer. I also really love the shade of this. I think shades obviously play a really big role in whether or not you're gonna like a cream bronzer. And honestly, this has been my bronzer of choice recently just because of the scent. And I don't like fragrance in my makeup products almost ever, but there's just something about this that is so summery and delicious, and it really just like transports me every single time I apply it on my face. The scent doesn't last or linger, but it's there when you first apply it, and I just really enjoy it. All of that being said, I like this bronzer. I really enjoy it. If this wasn't in my collection, would I miss it? Probably not. I'm going to put it in take it or leave it, which may be surprising because I started off being like, I'm going to be sad when this is gone. But also like, would I really be sad if this was gone? I don't know. The Fenty Beauty cream bronzers. I'm just gonna say it. I think this is probably as close to a holy grail bronzer as I'm going to get. Even though this is not a cream bronzer that I maybe reach for the most, I really do feel that the Fenty cream bronzers kind of hit the boxes for me in pretty much every single category. So let's start off first with formula for this guy. This is another one of those cream bronzers that I find lands right in the middle. It's not super emollient, but it's also not super stiff. Kind of has the qualities of both types of formulas, but it lands right in the middle, so it's not too much of either, if that makes any sense. It has a perfect amount of pigment as well. It's not super intense like the Huda Beauty Tantour or even this Nars one that I just showed you guys. So you are able to get something sheer and natural if you want it, or you can definitely build it up if you want something a little bit more intense. And I think the trouble that a lot of people have with any type of bronzer, again, like I said, is the shade range. And Fenty, as always, kills it with the shade range. You have a really nice array of options when it comes to tone and actual level of shade. Butter Biscuit is my most used shade personally. Sometimes I like to go a little bit cooler tone with a shade like this. This is Amber, and as you can see side by side, way more cool toned. This would work really, really great if you are on the fair side as well. So this is going holy grail status. So next we have a product from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Hollywood Contour Wand. This is, I wouldn't really say so much a cream bronzer. It's definitely more of a cream contour product. So I wouldn't really use this particular product to actually warm up the face, but if you want to sculpt the face, this is my favorite cream product or creamy liquidy product to do that with. So this is what it looks like. It actually has this super annoying applicator. It's one thing I really don't like about this. It has this like sponge and you have to squeeze it out and it often explodes on you, which is very annoying. But it has like a really nice texture. It feels somewhat gel-like, so when you blend it into your skin, it just blends really effortlessly. And this is by far my favorite way to contour my face if I am going to be using a cream or a liquid. It's something that I constantly go back to. I've been using it for years. I use the shade Fair Medium. It works perfect for my skin tone and it's real good. So that's all I really got to say about that. For me, this is definitely a holy grail product. I actually have to repurchase one soon. I'm kind of out of that one. I feel like we should talk about this slightly controversial cream bronzer. Controversial only in the fact that it's very expensive. This is the Tom Ford Cream Duo. So you have a bronzer shade here and then you have this clear glossy highlighter shade. So I've always heard such incredible things about this palette. I feel like I've heard every single like larger makeup artist talk about this, rave about it, and the time that I actually pulled the trigger to purchase this is when I had this used on my face by a friend of mine who is a working makeup artist, and she was like raving about it, saying how it's one of her favorite bronzer contour products and she uses it all the time. And so I figured I had no choice but to pick it up at that point. Definitely no regrets because I really do love this bronzer. I think it works honestly like a dream. It melts into the skin so easily. This is definitely a very emollient product. It's very wet feelings. However, what's nice about this is that even though it feels super wet and slippery, like when you first apply it, it doesn't set down on the face, but I don't find that it slips around on the face really at all. The problem that I have with this is that it's super expensive, and if you are not going to use this highlighter, this palette is just like very expensive because you're essentially paying for just one product that you're really going to use. This highlighter is fine. It's like a super glossy, almost like translucent balmy highlighter. I never put this on my face. I just don't think it's anything special. So that's what makes this tricky for me to rate, because I just feel like you can definitely get a product that's very similar to this from another brand that's not quite as expensive, but it is good. So where should I put it? I don't know. I actually think I'm gonna put it in the good, not amazing category, even though I think the cream bronzer in here is very, very good and borderline amazing. I think the fact that it is pretty expensive, it's not super unique, and you also may or may not use the other product that's in here. I think that's what kind of takes it down a notch. So next up we have a product that really I feel like catapulted me into loving so much cream bronzers, and that's the Nudestix Nudies Bondi Bay Bronzer. This was probably like my most used cream bronzer for a very long time. I went through like sticks and sticks of these. So here's a product, comes in a little stick. That's what it looks like. This is another bronzer that I feel is really easy to work with, really easy to blend. You can get a little bit more of an intense look with it. You can get something a little bit more sheer down. I really like the formula. I really like the tone of Bondi Bay. I think it's a great product. I don't really use it so much anymore. I actually only recently kind of rediscovered it from Alana's Picante collab. It came with like a little mini Bondi Bay bronzer, and I started using it like in my at-home vanity, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a really nice cream bronzer. So I do think this actually belongs in the used to use it all the time, but really not so much anymore. Next, we have probably a bronzer that has catapulted itself, I don't know, dare I say holy grail status, because it's so freaking good. This is the Danessa Myricks Power Bronzer. Power bronzer, yes. I was so pleasantly surprised with this product. I really didn't expect like anything too crazy when I first tried it, but I love everything about it. I love this because of how natural this looks on the skin. It blends like such a freaking dream. It just melts into the skin, gives the perfect amount of color. It's really hard for me to come up with like different adjectives to be able to describe cream bronzers because honestly guys, at the end of the day, a lot of them do end up being kind of the same but different. I think the best thing for me to do is maybe to compare it to other bronzers that you may be familiar with. And for me, this guy reminds me slightly of the Patrick Ta cream bronzer. I can say it's holy grail status. It's a little bit too new for me, but it's definitely in the rotation right now. So let's chat about some drugstore cream bronzers. Unfortunately, I feel like the drugstore hasn't quite caught up just yet with Sephora brands or more luxury brands because I feel like there's not a lot of cream or liquid bronzers out there just yet from the drugstore. So the first one that I have here is from Physicians Formula. This is the Sculpting Bronzer. This is a bronzer that I had a little bit of like a not the best start of our relationship with. When I first tried this, I really just did not like the way that it applied. I just really found that it was actually a little bit too stiff, and so I found it to be difficult to blend. But when something doesn't work, you gotta try again. And so I tried to use it in a bit of a different way, and I find that this product actually works best not when I draw it directly onto my face because it is a stick, so you may be really tempted to just like go like that all around the face. I find when I did that, it just blended painfully. But when I would go in either with a brush or a sponge and I would go in directly from the stick to my face, I was able to get much more of a seamless blend, and it worked really nicely when I used it that way. And I think honestly for me, I would probably take it or leave it. Like if it's in front of me, I'll totally use it and make it work. But if I don't have it, I would think I would be fine not having it, you know? Next product from the drugstore is from Flower Beauty. This is a Heat Wave Bronzing Essence. So I actually find this product is very similar to the By Terry, what is it called? It's like the bronzy, glowy highlighter thing in Sunny Flash that you're supposed to either use on its own or mix it in with your foundation if you want to add like a bronzy glow or boost to your foundation. This kind of does the exact same thing. So this is a product that is meant to add a tint of bronze to your entire face. It's not meant to use as like a pinpointed bronzer. You can either use this on its own, put it on your face, and then put your foundation on top, or you can mix it in with your foundation to just add that bronzy boost directly in there. And that's what I would recommend doing, because putting it on your face first is the wrong move. It becomes such a mess. It looks so patchy. It does not look good on the skin. It doesn't give you like an even finish throughout, but when you mix it in with your foundation directly, it gives the most beautiful, just like hint of bronzy glow to your foundation that I really love. So again, you kind of just got to use this in the right way. I actually am not sure where to put this. I think I'm going to put in good, not amazing. Okay, let's talk another OG cream makeup product. This is the Milk Makeup cream stick. This is another product that I pretty much used to absolute death. It was like my go-to cream bronzer for a really long time. I'll never get over the scent of this, by the way. It smells like Play-Doh. It's a terrible smell. This bronzer is the epitome of like a stiff formula. So just look at this. When I put it on, it kind of like drags across the skin. And it's very sticky. It almost feels putty-like. I do feel that because of that stickier, puttier-like consistency, it does last really well on the face. I definitely do prefer to use this like from brush or sponge to stick to face. I don't really like to draw it on my face because I do find blending it can sometimes be a little bit annoying. So overall, it's a good cream bronzer. I loved it so much when this was like my #1, but I don't use it anymore, really ever. I do feel like it's not the easiest formula to work with anymore. There are other formulas that I do prefer because I started using this so early in my cream career. So I think for that reason, I'm going to put this in. Used to use it all the time, but not so much anymore. Next, I have another nostalgic product for you guys, the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. This was another like very YouTube popular product. A lot of people were using this at one point, and I definitely was one of those people who gave into the hype and I purchased this. And I actually very recently repurchased it for a cream showdown video that I did recently. And I gotta say, like, it's fine. It's good. It's a good cream bronzer. You get a lot of product in here. So even though this is Chanel, it is pricier, you at least do get a lot of product for your buck, which is really nice. It's not my absolute favorite formula. I really am not totally in love with the tone of this. I do find it leans very terracotta, somewhat orange, which does complement people with more of like a tanner skin tone. For me, I have to be at a very specific level of my skin tone for this to really work perfectly. I'm just really whatever about it. I have nothing more to say. It's not bad. It's not amazing. I would say it's good, not amazing. Next, we have a very, very new bronzer. These are the new cream sticks from Makeup by Mario. I, right off the bat, love these. I just did a video reviewing these and I'm obsessed. First of all, I love the shade selection in this line. You definitely have something for everybody. I love the formula. I love the way it applies. It's just so effortless. This is also one of the very first makeup products that actually has a somewhat decent brush on the other end. Most of the times with makeup products, you get kind of a brush that you'll never actually use. This one was actually pretty impressive. It's a little bit odd because it has these little pimples, these little like raised dots on the brush. I think that's meant just to really help move around the product when you're blending it out. But it's a very like soft and very luxe feeling brush on the other end, which again, you don't normally see on products like this. So that definitely is a plus for sure. Even though it's really, really new, it's currently in my rotation, and this may or may not be on its way to being holy grail status. I really like it a lot. The Tarte Seashells Cream Bronzer. This is very underrated and not a ton of people talk about this. When I first tried this, again, I really didn't expect much from it, but this really surprised me and it really blew me out of the water. The reason why I like this is because it is a little bit on like the more matte, stiffer side, but it still blends really seamlessly on the skin, but yet it really does stay in place. I don't find this slips around at all. So this guy definitely goes in the rotation. Future Jamie here. I did realize that I actually forgot a bronzer that I would absolutely put in the avoid category. So that category is no longer empty, and it is the Kaja Beachy Stamp in the shade Shady. This is actually a cushion bronzer, so that's what it looks like. At the top over here, you have this really cute little star stamp that you're supposed to essentially use in the bronzer, and you're supposed to stamp this on your cheeks. It's definitely very cute, and that little star stamp aspect may be the thing that really pushes you to get this bronzer, but I would recommend not. This has actually a lot of gold shimmer in it, very, very visible, kind of chunky gold shimmer, which I really don't like, and I find that this blends out on the skin in a very patchy way, so I just would not recommend this. This definitely goes in the avoid category. I can't believe I forgot about it. My bad. All right, guys, so these are all of the cream bronzers that I've tried. So now let's talk about a couple cream bronzers that I actually have not tried, but I do still have opinions on. The first one that I have here is the new e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. So I am so upset that I haven't yet tried this bronzer because this is obviously from e.l.f. It's a very affordable brand. And like I said before, there's not a lot of drugstore or affordable brands that have cream or liquid bronzers. So it's always really exciting for me to see a drugstore brand come out with one. And this definitely looks really promising. I read the reviews. They seem to be great. I really like the variety of shades that they come out with as well. And it just looks really promising and I can't wait to get my hands on it. So this is definitely going in the excited to try category over here. Another new product that I just ordered yesterday, and honestly I even considered waiting a couple days to do this video just to try out this product because this is another product that I've heard really great things about, and it's the new Say Cream Bronzer. A lot of people are saying that it's a very wearable cream bronzer. It's very sheer, it kind of just like melts into the skin in a very wearable way, and I'm really looking forward to trying this out. I really do like a nice like no makeup bronzer. That's kind of seems like what this bronzer is going to be all about. So I'm probably going to get it in pretty soon, and I will be sure to give you guys my full thoughts on it once I actually do, but I'm definitely really excited to try it. Then we have not a new product, but a product that I consistently put into my cart at Sephora and then I take it out before checking out. And it is the Westman Atelier Bronzer Stick. So I typically will put this into my cart because I'm like, okay, I need to buy this for research purposes. I need to see if this is actually worth the money because Westman Atelier is a very expensive brand, but I always remove it from my cart because I'm just like, there's no way that this is going to be worth the 70 or so Canadian dollars that this costs, because all these bronzers over here are all fantastic. And like I also said, at some point, especially when it comes to cream bronzer, it can only be so different than the last. I just can't imagine what would make this one in particular so incredibly special. Let me know in the comments though if you've tried this, if you feel like this is like totally out of this world. You're like, Jamie, no, what are you talking about? This is the best cream bronzer I've ever tried for X, Y, or Z reasons. Let me know. I'm willing to hear you out. But for now, this is going in a not gonna bother. category right there. The very last bronzer that I have here is a super like random one, but I wanted to include it anyway. It's the RMS Beauty. It's really expensive for the amount of product that you get. You get 0.2 ounces of product in here, whereas something like, for example, the Bronzino from Tower 28, you get 4.5 ounces of product, and that's like 4 times the amount basically. And then on top of that, I know how RMS Beauty products perform. They are very much a no makeup type of brand. They're very, very natural, very, very sheer. And while I do really like sheer bronzers, I just feel like the combination of the sheerness with this like somewhat shimmeriness, I just don't feel like I'm really gonna be super excited about. I don't think it's going to be something that I would absolutely adore. For those reasons, I'm just not going to bother with this guy. There's actually one more product that I want to mention that I'm a really big fan of that I find is a great alternative to the contour palette that I showed from Anastasia, because I did say that there are other contour palettes that I think are actually work better. And this one from RCMA is probably one of my favorite contour palettes. If you are a working makeup artist, this thing is amazing. It does come in a couple different versions. This is the one that I have though. It is so much easier to work with compared to the Anastasia contour kit. I actually just remember having to put an oil in my brush to use the Anastasia contour kit to make it a little bit more creamier and to kind of allow the formula to blend a little bit better. That is definitely not an issue that you will ever have with the RCMA. This is also considered like a professional product, so a little bit of this really does go a very, 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 very long way. It is very, 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 very pigmented. So if you are looking for a really awesome contour and highlight palette, this one is the one that I would recommend. So this is going in holy grail, honestly. Even though I really don't use this very often, it's still a holy grail product in that like I still feel that this sits above a lot of other contour palettes out there. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of all of the rankings that I gave all of these bronzers. If you agreed, if you disagreed, where would you put them yourselves? Hit the thumbs up button if you did enjoy today's video and want to see more, and also let me know what category you would like to see next, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!